Back with the Ron and Fez show, 866-RON-0-FEZ. That's 866-RON-0-FEZ. Or you can always email us at ronandfez@aol.com. Coming up on Saturday will be Dr. Steve's Weird Medicine show. That's this Saturday. The Weird Medicine Addendum from 8 to 9 right here as part of the Saturday Night Virus. Heather Mills, she got dropped from the cast of The Next Celebrity Apprentice after she demanded a guarantee that she would be in the finals. Now, I don't understand where someone gets the ego. I mean, all she did was marry a beetle and lean too far to the right on a motorcycle. That is about it. But I don't understand where people come from where they have this sense of entitlement. This woman legitimately thinks she's a star on 2 continents. On both Europe and America.
Well, if she was a star, she wouldn't be on a Celebrity Apprentice.
I wouldn't I wouldn't put her in the finals if the prize was a leg transplant. Spike Lee said that his wife told him that he may have hurt his Oscar chances with his feud with Clint Eastwood, saying that voters take everything into account with him for Academy Awards, including the fact that he's a Knicks fan and that he's from New York. So I didn't know if there's like a Spike Lee paranoia or if there really is a prejudice against him.
Well, he's right. New Yorkers don't get as many Oscars as Hollywood people because, you know, they live out there.
But, I mean, he does think that it is a kind of everyone's out to get me attitude.
Well, if you did Do the Right Thing and it lost to, I don't know what it was, Driving Miss Daisy.
Right.
I don't think that's paranoia. When's the last time you sat around with some friends watching a Driving Miss Daisy movie?
I haven't.
Nobody will turn off Do the Right Thing.
Yeah, so, I mean, so maybe he's right with this. But, and there's also the Academy's love for Clint Eastwood, where they just adore that guy.
Yeah, I agree.
A new CNN poll shows that 30% of Americans think another terrorist attack in the U.S. is likely. That's down 30 points from September 11th, 2002, on the one-year anniversary of 9/11. So I wonder if people feel safer, or is it the apathy that's come from 7 years since the attack?
We think about it a little less every year, just like anything, you know? We just think about it a little less. I guess that's a human thing, not thinking.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel any safer. I may just go with the apathetic side of it, where I don't know if I feel any safer than what happened 7 years ago today.
Well, face it, do you sit around wondering if the president's going to be assassinated? But if you were there when it happened to John Kennedy, it would feel like that could happen again at any moment, you know?
Oh, yeah.
We have a tendency, the human experience is to put things behind us.
Right. I know in Pennsylvania, where the United 93 flight went down, they're worrying there. They're trying to put a memorial up to Flight 93 that's supposed to be ready in 2012. And but they're worried also that they want people to visit it, but it's going to be too touristy. They worry about getting tacky on that side of it.
There would be no other reason to go to that field.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, tourists will be going there.
Yeah, so I mean, it seems like, I understand putting up the memorial, but they are trying to make an industry out of 9/11.
It becomes that. Like when you go to Pearl Harbor, it's all set up and there's things. If you go down here, they sell T-shirts and keychains and pictures.
Yeah.
It's this is something people do. There's going to be money to be made off of it.
Yeah. I've never understood like the commemorative 9/11 stuff of wanting the special coin or whatever that has come out.
Well, you're not a coin collector.
Right. But
I'm not either. You can put anything on a coin. I wouldn't hold on to it.
Yeah. Or just any of the 9/11 commemorative things. I don't.
But it would really fall into different personalities. Some people think something isn't real till they get it on a plate. Now, I can't identify with that, but I know there are plate collectors and people make money off of it.
So it's an odd fine line where it's and of course, I get a little unnerved that people observe it less and less each year.
We do. We observe it less and less each year. The year after 9/11, we did the entire show was on it. This year, Earl jacked off. It at the same way, if you take something like Pearl Harbor Day, if you were around then, it would mean totally different to you. When we were kids, it meant, nothing. You were like, oh yeah, Pearl Harbor, but you weren't all attached to the feelings.
Yeah. Is that like a human, I don't know if that's a flaw or a defense mechanism?
It's life. Life goes on. Life goes on.
I guess I can't just, be crying the whole time, for 7 years straight. But also, I don't know. It comes back and hits me each time. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not putting this into words correctly.
No, I understand completely. But, why would any one date matter more than another date? You could think about, that day on June 3rd. Just the date itself, that's kind of a man-made way of looking back at it anyway.
Right, yeah. That's true. And I'm glad that it didn't become a holiday. Where it would be like, a Memorial Day, where it would, turn into a day off for people. I think that would actually make people forget it even more. I think it would take it even a little bit more out of their memories. Because then it would be, when you go to work, when it's not a holiday and you go to work on that day and stuff, it really does bring back what you were feeling that day that it happened. I think that probably makes it more in your memory.
Only for you, not necessarily for other people. I think that you're looking at it from a pretty personalized, point of view. Obviously, if you had family involved in that day, it would be even more personal.
I also don't like it when things like not involving what happened that day on 9/11 show up like on TV. Like if a sale ends like now through September 11th, or something's opening on September 11th.
We had a guest come in today promoting a film. You know what I mean? But again, life goes on. It's not, you're either going to be a holiday or you're not. And this is not, registered as a holiday. The freedom part of this is people can look back on it any way they wish to, whether it's by laying a wreath down or having someone masturbate them. It's up to each person. Earl chooses his way. Who are the rest of us to say? Brian, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, remember the Alamo, remember the Maine. Oh, my kids don't even know what remember the Alamo means. The only reason I know it is because of a movie. Life goes on. Things happen.
Yeah.
We forget about it. 9/11 will become another movie in 100 years.
Well, not even. It's already been a movie. It's already a movie.
There's been a couple of them. But I don't know. I guess I just think that the date should be reserved. I like that the candidates aren't campaigning today.
I think it's a reserved day. I honestly do. I'm looking up and CNN is handling it, and they read off the names like they do every year. They're definitely it's being remembered. It's not being remembered the way it was the year after, but we've already brought up several times that time heals some of these feelings.
I know there was some articles in the New York papers today about that a memorial hasn't been done yet.
There's not even a building there.
Yeah.
So there's nothing's happened in 7 years.
And even that building is on hold again.
And again, I don't even know what a memorial means. Most memorials you really don't remember. maybe we don't need a memorial because enough people already remember. Maybe you're in no hurry to put up some rock that says this is where it happened at.
Yeah, people seem to need a place to go.
They have a place. There's a giant hole down there. I was down in that area not that long ago.
Right.
There's people there every day. There's people there every single day.
And then, of course, there's the thing on should the responders that, have died since then, end up on the memorial as part of that. As well as the, over the 3,000 people that got lost that day.
Right. And I have no problem with that. I think that's false debate as well. You know what I mean? I mean, it's another reason why you don't really need a memorial, like for only these people matter and not the other people. Just doesn't really seem that big a deal. Here is MJ. MJ, you're on Run Fez.
Hey, what's up, fellas? Listen, I just want to say we don't celebrate anything that when we're attacked. Like Pearl Harbor, we don't celebrate. We already forgot about that. We don't celebrate anything for the Civil War. It's only things that we accomplished, like the 4th of July. It's just a day of remembrance. That's all. You know what I'm saying?
Hello? Yeah. Here's Tony. Tony, you're on Run Fez.
Hey, Ron. Hey, what?
What can we do for you?
That was it.
Oh.
Here's Nick. Nick, you're on Fez.
How you doing, guys?
Yeah.
Fez.
Yes, sir.
Fez.
We having problems with these phones? Chuck, you're on the Run Fez show.
Hey, buddies. I heard this morning on the news Congress or the president were actually trying to get today declared a national holiday, not necessarily one where we all get off, but another Memorial Day kind of thing.
Well, if you're a holiday, people have to get off, right?
Yeah.
You have to be off work. So I think it's just going to be a day of remembrance. You're not going to put another holiday this close to Labor Day.
Oh, right, yeah. And there's rarely a holiday other than, maybe Christmas where it lands on, where they actually do it on the day that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
They move it to the Monday closest to September 11th.
Right.
So that would be just meaningless anyway.
Again, why do we have to set up a day for people to act in a certain way? Why can't people just deal with it any which way they choose to?
I don't know. I guess because maybe some people need like a more of a group thing than other people, where
then get together with a group, but don't force everybody to be part of that group. Do you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times it's almost like spirituality when people go, "Oh, I feel this way about something." Well, it's good, practice it, but then now you want to make everybody feel that way about something. I don't think anyone in the world needs to deal with it in any certain faction. I got a nephew who's 4 years old, and he was telling us that they were going to do a 9/11 thing at his school, and he gets to wear his America shirt. So he's already putting it up there with the Olympic kind of feeling,
right?
Like America's the best. And maybe that's the way they're even teaching them, like, we got to remember America. But there's no reason that it should mean anything to this kid. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure.
I mean, it's going to be taught in its own way, but they don't have to see it the same way that you do. Here is Sam. Sam, you're on Run Fez.
Hey, how you doing, fellas?
Yeah.
Listen, I just wanted to say, yesterday the chairman of the Joint Chiefs came out and said the strategy in Afghanistan is not working. That country's going to shit, and nobody seems to care and wants to talk about that.
No, people do not want to talk about those things at all. And I was talking about this with Alan Ball today. It's very rare to find yourself in actual conversations, actual debates. We have an election right now that's being fought out like it's baby talk. instead of being about real things. Here is Paul. Paul, you're on Fez.
Hey, guys, I agree with Todd. I hope they don't make it a national holiday. The thing that's always driving me crazy about Memorial Day is they have these freaking sales. Come celebrate our war dead, buy a new TV. It's amazing they have sales on Memorial Day.
Well, Fez, he doesn't want it to be a holiday, but you do want it to be something. You're looking for a rock. You're looking for something to do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want it to be, like a fireworks day, but, where everybody's home, or on a picnic. But I also, man, I wish there was like an in-between way of making sure it got remembered. I mean, I know everyone said don't forget and never forget. I don't know. I worry that it's going to get forgotten.
Well, as long as it's not forgotten by you, you're one of the people. I mean, it's been on all day today. Both candidates came together. They actually hugged down at 9/11. So, I mean, they were able to put things apart and say, look, at the end of the Democratic and Republican races, this is about America. I honestly feel like I don't need a rock. I don't need a building. I don't need anything like that. And I think most people feel the same. You can just deal with this any way you need to. Scott, you're on Fez.
Hey, yeah, guys, great best show on the radio. I just want to say I agree with you, Ron. I don't see the reason for a memorial. I don't understand them. And, do you ever see all the cars with the stickers on? They'll say in memory of, Dale Earnhardt or somebody's name. I mean, are they in memory of, a car? It's just been cheapened. There's so many of them, and it's not like any of us are going to forget 9/11. Why do you need something there to remind you of it?
Yeah, I guess that they're meaningless except for people that have meaning for, I guess that's all it really comes down to. But Fez, you're bringing up that you don't want to see anybody kind of make money off of it or capitalize on it anyway. But have you ever been to Gettysburg in Pennsylvania?
No.
That was the biggest battle, I think, of the Civil War. Everything around there is about selling. The hotels are there. There shouldn't be. There are fields. There's memorials all over the place, these little statues that each town who lost people had put up. And at the end of the day, it's just something that we really can't connect with all that much. Some people are Civil War buffs. Other people go there and you can picture it. And other people, it's just a field to them. And a place to have a picnic.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It just feels like this gets, the remembrance gets a little smaller each year.
Yes.
I mean, I guess, and eventually it'll be gone.
And eventually it'll be the same way as Pearl Harbor Day is now.
You think it'll stay that way?
Yes, an attack on American soil with 2 buildings being knocked down. That's going to be remembered. No one's going to forget that. It's not going to have the same effect of people lighting candles and holding hands and singing.
Yeah.
And I think you miss that feeling. What you miss is the way that we all felt after 9/11 when we were there taking care of each other, checking in on each other, that there was a fact that people were really and truly, their nerves were exposed so that they were able to say to people, I love you, or please, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's what you're missing.
That definitely could be it. Maybe, I miss the mourning process.
Well, you do seem to be fixated on things like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I can't deny that at all.
Here is, let's go over here to Larry. Larry, you're on Fez.
Hey, Ron. Hey, Fezzy. Hey, I was just looking at, today is recognized as Patriot Day. I thought that was 2 years after 9/11 when they said that.
It's for the Boston Patriots.
No way.
The old Boston Patriots that took place before the New England Patriots.
Oh,
here is Alex. Alex, you're on Fez.
Hey, guys.
You know, my mom and my sister or my girlfriend, they all basically said the exact same thing to me today. They told me to not really be depressed and to not be down about today. And that seems like the absolute worst attitude to have about it to me. I feel really disconnected from them because of that. It just feels like it'd be the most wrong thing in the world to not be sad today. It just seems like it's a bigger inconvenience to so many people to be sad about today instead of just going on with their life.
But here's the point. Here's the point to me, Alex. You feel a certain way, and that's your way of dealing, right? And other people feel other ways, and that's their way of dealing. In other words, Fez is not unhappy about the way he's behaving. He's wishing other people would do something differently, and you're doing the same exact thing. You know, maybe this is the way your mom and sister, if they sit around and get sad for a day, maybe they'll end up being sad for a month. Is that what you want them to do?
No, absolutely not. I don't want everybody to look at it the exact same way that I do. I just think that it's a bigger thing where a lot more people are showing that it just seems to be an inconvenience to not, to take the time and to just think about it today. It's one day out of 365 days. I don't really understand why it's such a bad thing to just take the day to reflect.
Then you take the day and reflect. Why does everybody else have to feel exactly the way you do? Maybe some people think a moment is plenty. Maybe some people think they should dedicate their lives to it. And let's face it, a lot of people have. There are a lot of people thinking about 9/11 every single day, and you're not. There are people going, I'm going to make sure this doesn't happen again. Maybe you're the one who's not doing enough. Here's Matt. Matt, you're on Fez.
Hey, Ronnie, that point you just made is the point I was trying to make. I had a friend who was on the second plane. I moved out to Arizona, and you have people here arguing about a memorial and the wording on the memorial, and they protested. Then you get down by the area we have here, they have 3,000 flags. Go down and heal there. I think about Sean and those guys whenever it comes to mind. I don't have to have a day to sit there and reflect and have it be a part of a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things, I think you hit it on with Fezzy. Fezzy doesn't feel, you don't want to have people to forget this day that happened and that emotion you had, but, things go on.
Right.
So.
I mean, you talk about things cheapening, right? Let's take the birth of Christ. How far away are we now from what really the birth of Christ would be? What with reindeer and sails and football games and all that. And yet, if you act like you don't like those things, some people tell you that you don't have the Christmas spirit.
Oh, yeah, then you're bah humbug.
Right. So then you're somehow a bad person where you're like, no, I think it's really a humble day to think about a person on the planet who came in here who had the power of a God that choose to live as a human. That, saying I just want to make that a quiet, reflective day, is considered the anti-Christmas. So, again, to get back into it, Fez, it really comes down to your power is to behave and feel about it in the way that you want to, not in the way that you somehow expect everybody to feel that way. And I understand where you're coming from, but I really don't know if you're ever going to get to achieve that. I don't think it's going to happen. Here's Justin. You're on Fez.
Hi, I was actually thinking that a memorial park at the Ground Zero site would actually be really good for future generations because, you have these kids who are growing up after the fact and they don't really know what happened. And if you have a place where they can see how many people died and just understand the damage that...
You cannot. I'm telling you, I've been to Gettysburg, and you really cannot identify with it. Yeah, you can go to the Alamo. You cannot identify with it. This place is filled with memorials. But when you're a kid, like to my parents, Pearl Harbor meant something to me that it never meant to me. Didn't mean that I was a bad person when I was a kid. It just meant what you are telling me is not of my life and times. I'm not going to have the same experience as you have with it. David, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Ron and Fez. I think what Fez kind of misses was we were a whole nation of Fezes at the time. We were all afraid to fly. We were all afraid to go across bridges. We were all completely insecure for a while, and he just felt more in tune with us at that time.
Yeah, there was a bond that the people had. But almost immediately after 9/11, I felt a disconnect from the rest of the country. When I saw people at football games just, with flags and turning into a patriotic day and putting their flags on things. That wasn't my personal connection, yet I got the fact for them it was, But almost immediately, I did not feel connected with what most people thought the patriotic feeling was. Andrew, you're on Fez.
Hey guys, the part that bugs me the most about all this aftermath is the fact that really nothing is getting done. Whether you give them a memorial or you start building the buildings, whether you go either way, nothing's getting done, and I find that is a shame. They just got a big open space sitting out there.
Well, what you find out is immediately when something like this happens, people think what they wanted before it happened is the thing that should be done. You know what I mean? People that wanted to put a certain type of buildings downtown started to work for it, and it just so happened that was going to make them financially rich. People that thought that we should have went into Iran started using 9/11 to their, and I meant Iraq, and then Iran after that started using that to their advantage. People that were peace type people who like the parades, like candle vigils, think that we should have a day of prayer. They immediately went into that. This is what we should do. Everybody just takes what they had before and starts to work it. If you think that people should just let the government run things, that's what you believe in. If you think that corporations should run things, then that's what it meant to you. Here is Malik. Malik, you're on Fez.
Hey, what's up, Ron? What's up, Fez?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that your show that you guys did after 9/11 was the most moving thing I've ever heard on the radio, and it really meant a lot to a lot of people and you guys. I just wanted to give you guys props for that. That's all.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that because we were on the air in New York City the night of 9/11, and it was the three of us sitting here now, me, Fez, and Earl, and then also Billy Staples had come back into the country with us. But people even remember that differently. I don't remember us saying anything particularly well that night, but again, people forget because that feeling went on for months. So a lot of the friendships that we made with listeners after 9/11 are still really powerful friendships. People that we met when we started to do bar crawls and stuff like that. Because of the feelings of 9/11, those friendships that we made are really, really deep. And there's people like Solaire and Alki and Sweet Melissa and I wouldn't, F me. I wouldn't even begin to, even though I did, I shouldn't begin to leave out the fact that all those relationships got made really, really strong, basically based on how we were feeling at the time.
Yeah, because that night we stayed on an extra hour or two. I don't actually even remember that much of it, but it was basically just opening the phone lines and letting people on. To look for people.
Well, I'm not even talking. What I'm saying in hindsight, people confuse 9/11 with 10/11, 11/11.
Oh, yeah,
because that feeling went on for so long. The feeling itself of 9/11, I'm like you. I don't really even remember that show too much. Here's Nick. Nick, you're on Fez.
Hey, Ronnie, how you doing?
Yeah.
I feel bad for all the people who died. I lived in New York at the time. But the number one thing I think is negative from 9/11 is that anything you disagreed with at the time, suddenly you were un-American. So you could have an opposing opinion of something, and you got labeled an un-American. And, with all the good and everyone coming together, there was definitely some bad that shouldn't be, unnoticed.
Well, and I agree 100%. And that's even when I'm saying to Fez, when Fez is going, we should all do something, right? We should all behave in a certain way. That's the exact opposite of having freedoms. The fact is, as soon as everybody has to wear a flag pin on a certain day, as soon as everybody has to celebrate a day of remembrance in a certain way, and if you don't do that, suddenly you're not one of us. That's the exact opposite, to me, what any memorial should be trying to prove. If you want to celebrate our freedoms, right, be free. Be free to behave the way you want, and then respect freedom enough to let the other person behave in the way they want to.
I'm really embarrassed about some of the things I got caught up in after 9/11 with group mentality. And I mean, because, I put out a flag on my apartment door and stuff like that. And I mean, and then I guess I don't feel bad about that, but I feel bad that it led me into that atmosphere of fear that had me, support a war that had nothing to do with 9/11 and being gullible. And I really feel like an idiot for taking all that in and processing it the way I did.
Well, again, a lot of that stuff is healing. A lot of it for you was, how am I going to get over this feeling?
Yeah.
Of my city's been attacked.
And I mean, I totally fell into the anger thing too. 7 years later, I think what a squandered opportunity. Because the whole world was together on that. And the things we could have accomplished with a planet altogether. I mean, I don't even mean getting rid of terrorism or getting rid of Saddam Hussein or Osama bin Laden. I mean, just coming together and feeding people or whatever other problem there could have been. Maybe we wouldn't even be having this global warming debate if we had used that attitude, that emotion that happened right after 9/11.
And right, but there is also a real, and I understand that you're, and I'm not sure of your exact point that you feel you yourself did something wrong, or
yeah, I feel like I wasted the opportunity as well.
Yeah,
because I went in besides the scared mode of, we have to go into Iraq so that this doesn't happen again, when they posed no threat at all. But also I went into the anger mode too, and I was one of the people saying, take out every Middle Eastern country there is. Just destroy them. I hated every one of those people so much. And so I'm embarrassed all these years later that I wasn't able to see a bigger picture. I think that's what happened.
Right. Well, as far as the feeling of something and then being able to do something, there's a reason, like, I know you know what the Christmas spirit is, right?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Well, there's no reason for that feeling not to exist, all the time.
Right.
But we just fall back into our thing. I mean, the fact that there's a Christmas spirit is a silly illusion, because that should be the miracle of life feeling that exists all the time. I mean, the reality of it is you only get to live so long. You only get to do so many things. Why aren't we taking advantage of any opportunity? Long before 9/11, long before the Alamo, long before the War of the Roses, you would think that the human beings would work together towards something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To you, the 9/11 thing feels unique because it happened to you. But we also had World War II. Where all of Europe was destroyed. But not only did we not learn from that, that happened just a few years after World War I. There is something that human beings keep fucking up, keep making mistakes, that seems to be part of just being a human being. You know, it just seems to be part of the human experience. Asher, you're on Run of Fez.
Yeah, Fez, hey, man, we all make mistakes, bro. That's live and let live. But there's one thing that we can all look forward to, is that we can all look forward to our Constitution, because it gives us the freedom in our own country. And also, everything else is so commercialized, you know? I mean, all our other holidays are, like Ronnie was saying earlier, it's about sales and this and that. I just think...
And again, you know, that is as American as anything else. It's, you know, we live in a capitalist society. It makes perfect sense for, if I drew a picture about 9/11, that, you know, I would want to sell that picture. You know, if you wrote a song about it, you'd want to sell that song. It's just something human beings do. We're not going to rise above being people.
I guess not. And I think when the caller said that, Fez wants to go back to those days of, when everybody was in the same place, in the same mourning process, maybe it is. Maybe, because I kind of feel like I did a disservice to all those people that were killed by thinking the way I did.
Here's Mike. Mike, you're on Fez.
Hey, Fezzy, what's up? You didn't have to get all upset and cry. I mean, we were all the same. We all felt the same way, you know? We all hung up flags right after it happened. I went and I bought like half a dozen flags. I hung them up because, you know what? We were all angry. We wanted to see something done.
And I don't think it's a matter of all. Again, I'm going to go back to what I said before. I think the people who believe in peace, right, also use that to their own means after the fact. Let's have candlelight visuals. Let's do marches. And I don't mean that in a bad way. But the people who are all about war and all about our military use that immediately. Let's get something to get more money. Obviously, Bush used it to get the things that he wanted long before the war. I don't think anybody's any more innocent or guilty than that. If you had a Hillary Clinton, who we thought would have been on the left side of that, she thought politically, I need to move over to the right. Again, I think she did it for her own political purposes. I think I did things for my purposes. You did it for yours. Again, it's part of the human experience. But now that we look back on this, and you're going, your thing that seems to have you upset is, I wish everyone were different. I think you're just having problems going, I haven't put this thing in a place where I can live with it yet.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't reconciled myself to my reaction or, excused my reaction or justified it, whatever I need to do with it. I guess I'm still reacting to 9/11.
Right.
It's still happening.
Well, and, I tell you quite a bit of the times how much you overreact. Mm-hmm. But that was a traumatic situation. This was real. You saw those towers fall with your own eyes, right?
Yeah.
You saw a traumatic thing go down in your own city. So obviously, it's a feeling that you haven't been able to completely embrace and deal with, any more than if you showed up and the kids from Columbine or whatever. But should we go around back and remember Columbine every year with those people in that community? Should they all get together and sing songs like, a real part of dealing with something sometimes is putting it behind you, dealing with the grief and putting that grief behind you. You don't get to go back and have the same feeling of grief as you did in the early days.
Yeah. And I hope I'm not trying to feel that grief again.
But there's a lot of positive to that. That's what we're saying. There were really good feelings where, strangers were hugging. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. And
that's what I'm trying to say. I think you missed those feelings.
Maybe that's what it was, just the connection.
Right.
With other people. Yeah.
Here's Billy. Billy, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ron and Fez.
Yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to say, you can use 9/11 as to think, even we live in such a great country. I mean, even the poorest among us, their standard of living, they have a higher standard of living than middle class in other countries. And then in a couple of months, we'll have another peaceful transfer of power that, for the last couple hundred years. I mean, Republican or Democrat, I mean, we're lucky. This is a great country, and you can, use that either any way you want.
Well, exactly. I mean, that was my point, that if you really want to celebrate freedoms, right? To really celebrate freedoms is to be free. That is how you would celebrate it most of all, is to celebrate your own freedom and the freedom of people around you. And that's to be able to deal with some things in the way that feels right for you. Not necessarily in the way that feels right for other people. And at the same time, that means you have to let other people behave in the way that they need to behave in.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm just trying to figure out what feels right to me and, tap into to that connection again.
Well, that means the connection with other people?
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, just for myself, I feel it. I feel it with you. I feel it with our own Billy, and I feel it with all the people that were listening to us, and that we had the chance to meet in those days after 9/11. I'll never forget that, and I'll feel that every day of my life.
Yeah.
And for me personally, it doesn't feel like something that I want to completely put behind me, and I know that I'll never completely put that behind me. But at the same time, I don't want it to overwhelm me either. So we will look back in some remembrance right now. And this was, I believe, the #1 song on the radio. And it's a song that we ended the show with that week, the week of 9/11. It's U2.